Hello everyone. In this current session, we are going to discuss on data pre-processing. Okay, so far we have discussed on how to collect data, and then we have done some exploratory data analysis. So in the exploratory data analysis, you have seen that first of all we have taken a data file in a pandas data frame. Then we have tried to be familiar with the different columns or features of the data set, and then what is the connection between them, what is the relationship between different features, and then we have tried to draw some graphs, visual representation, to have some better understanding. Then we also understood how to remove some unnecessary features from the data set, etc. Okay, so as part of data pre-processing, actually first we do some exploratory data analysis to be familiar with the data set, and then we do some changes or transformations to our data set to make it better, so that we can make it ready for the next level of processing, that is the implementation of machine learning models on our data set, so that our data can be processed for generating some outcomes or predictions that we are looking for from our data set. So now we'll discuss on different pre-processing techniques that we can use for making our data ready for the next phase. Okay, so we are going to cover today data pre-processing. So in this process, the raw data is converted into efficient data. As I told you, that we make that data ready for the next phase of processing. Okay, so there are different approaches for data pre-processing that include data quality assessment, feature engineering, feature aggregation, feature sampling, discretization and binarization, feature encoding, train, validation and test splitting of data, feature scaling, and dimensionality reduction. So these are the most common or most used processes that we use as part of data pre-processing. Okay, and some of them are actually part of machine learning techniques as well. So actually this is something which are overlapping. You can say that we start with the data set, we become familiar with some exploratory data analysis techniques, and then we do some pre-processing, means we make the data ready, and then we go for machine learning algorithms, and they are also we do some processing. Okay, so they are actually some overlapping methods. So some of the processing we should always do before we implement any machine learning algorithms. Okay, so we'll discuss on these things, and you have to remember that all these processing techniques need not be implemented on our every data set. It all depends on the nature of the data set, means you have to know where from it came, what is the nature of the data set, what are the problems maybe there in the data set, or how we are going to process that data set, what is the required outcome from the data set. So based on this, all this knowledge, we have to decide that which are the pre-processing techniques that we need to implement our data set. But for that, it is important that we should be familiar with the techniques. Okay, so the first one, that is the data quality assessment. So here we do broadly three things. We handle missing values. You know that in all the data sets, or most of the data sets, you will find that all the column values are not present, some of them may be missing. So what to do with that missing values, right? Some of the times we may go back to the source and ask for that why that value is missing, but in many cases that may not be possible. We may have to continue with that missing value. So uh, we can do two things: either we can just eliminate those missing data, that okay, there is missing data, so I'm just eliminating those features or those records. But sometimes that may not be that much useful or that much helpful, because when we are removing missing values, we may also lost some important data sometimes. Okay, and instead of eliminating the missing data, what we can do, maybe we can calculate that how many missing data are there, and really if we need the rest of the data as useful for our processing. In that case, we can, we can do some default value, with some default value, some constant value, 0, or the mean or average of the existing values, and we can put that value, that calculated value, in the missing data field. So these are broadly the two ways we can handle our missing data. We have already seen handling of missing data in EDA tutorials as well. Okay, so I will show with some examples in Jupyter notebook. And okay, then comes the inconsistent values. Inconsistent values means there can be some columns where I need some value, but maybe it contains something else as well. And this type of problem occurs mostly for the string data type fields. Suppose there is a address column, and there are the email ID, phone number, those columns are also present. But maybe suppose it's a form, so the user may give all the address fields and the phone number, email ID, everything in the address column only, and then he or she can keep this email or phone number fields empty. So that creates the inconsistency. So it's very important that we should have the consistent data fields. So if we are getting inconsistent data, then we really have to think what to do. Maybe we have to remove something, or we have to modify the data set so that we can proceed further. As I told you, that when I'm really looking for generating some prediction or good outcome from the data set, then it is very important that it should be a good quality data set, right? So that's why I'm doing the quality assessment of the data set. Okay, then comes the duplicate values. That's also very common. We can have the same record multiple times, so we have to handle the duplicate data as well. So if there are duplicate records, then we have to think of how to remove the duplicate records, because duplicate records create a lot of problems. First of all, your data volume is increased unnecessarily, or it can create some problem when I'm generating some prediction, some outcome. Then that can be wrong because the same data is occurring multiple times. So these things create problem. So we have to do this data quality assessment, as data is coming from different sources, different types of sources, right? And different types of sources, different nature of places from where data is coming, in different forms also. So all this creates problem. That's why we most of the time we don't have the perfect data set, we have problems. So that's why this pre-processing is really important. Okay, so we'll discuss on some of the methodologies that we'll use through our Jupyter notebook. So in Python we'll try to handle this. Okay, so now I'll go back to Jupyter notebook. Okay, so now I am in the Jupyter notebook. So here this is my script for data pre-processing. Okay, so first of all I'll import these libraries. Okay, next I have taken one file called ls1.csv. So this is a file for the Lok Sabha election data for India, and it contains the details of the candidates in the Lok Sabha election. So we have used this file earlier as well, so you may be familiar with that. So let us create this data frame, and I will print the first 5 records. Okay, so you can see that is the data, and then I am going back. So I'm creating 2 copies of the data set. Okay, ls and ls1, they will be just the copy of this because I need it for different purposes. Fine. Then with this functionality, that I can see how many records are there with null values in the data set columns. So you can see for these columns these many records are having the null values. Okay, then this info function, if you run, so it gives you a lot of information about the data frame. So you can see that there are total 2263 entries, there are total 19 columns, and these are the name of the columns, and these many not null values they contain. So you can see that these columns, these 5 columns, they contain all the 2263 not null values, and these columns contain only 2018 not null columns. So for the rest of the records, these columns contain null value. Fine. Okay, so we'll now do the missing data handling using pandas library. You are already familiar with pandas. So the first thing I'm going to do is pd.isNow. This function will return for this particular column I'm doing, and it will return that if that column is null, then it will return the value true, otherwise false. So let us execute this. So you can see that that for this third record the value is true, like that. So for the first 3 records it is false, because these 3 records contain not null value. Like that, there is another function called not_na. It's just the opposite. So if you execute, you can see that it will actually return true when there is a not null value in the column. It will return false when there is a null value in the column. Okay, the another function is drop_now function. This function will remove the null values from a row, from a column, means row wise or column wise it can drop. That depends on the parameter axis. So if axis equal to 1 means it's for column, okay, and then in place equal to true, you know that it will, the change will be implemented in the data frame itself. And then threshold value means it will check that if the number of the not null values reach this, then only it will keep that value, otherwise it will drop. So here I have keep the threshold as 2263, that is the total number of records. So here my purpose is that if there is a particular column which is having any of the null values, then that should be dropped. Okay, so if you okay, before executing that, let us just take the picture information about the data frame. So so there are total 2263 entries, 19 columns, and these are the number of not null records in all these columns. Okay, so let us now execute this. Okay, so once this drop_now is executed, then again I am executing this info. So now you can see instead of 19 columns, now I have only 11 columns. Okay, because these rest of the 8 columns, they were having not null records which were less than 2263. That's why all those columns were removed. Okay, now I will take another copy of the data frame ls. So let us execute. I can see there are 2263 entries and total 19 columns. So this is the record set. Now I will try to drop those records, because axis equal to 0 and threshold equal to 19, means for all the records where if there is any, because there are total 19 columns in the record set. So if any column is having null value, then this that will not reach the threshold value of 19. Okay, so then that record should be removed. So let us execute. Okay, after execution I will again execute this info function. So now you can see instead of 2263 I have only 2018 entries, because for rest of the records there were some null values in some columns, so those records were removed. Okay, so that's how I can remove the missing value records or columns. And then okay, then I will again copy this from the original data frame. Okay, so now what I'm doing, I'm trying to fill, instead of removing the missing record or column, here what I am trying to do, I'm just filling with some value. Okay, so here I want that if any null value is there, that should be filled with the value equal to 0. So let us execute. Okay, So now if you execute the head function, you can see that this h column, actually this record had this null value in the h column, so it is now filled in with 0. Okay, so here also you can see it is filled in with 0. So the column age having null value is now replaced with 0 value. Okay, so here I am instead of doing it with a constant value, I can fill with the mean value, as I told you. So here what I am doing, this record, this data set ls1, here the h column. So first of all, let us see this data set. So you can see h column is having null, h column is having null, etc. So what I am trying to do, so I am doing that I am filling the null values in the h column with the mean of h. Okay, so it is here, it is calculating the mean of h column in this data set, then it is filling in all the null places. So let us execute this. Now if you execute the head function, so now you can see in the h column, instead of the null value, I have the mean value of the h column data here also, and there was another place we had seen here. So you can see that is it is populated with the null values. Okay, now so we have handled missing data with pandas library. So now let us handle missing data with another library of Python, that is called the scikit-learn. Okay, in scikit-learn also there are many functionalities which help us to do that this handling of missing data. Okay, so I will again make a copy. So this library will also be very useful. Time to time we will see this scikit-learn that will be used for our pre-processing and the machine learning algorithms as well. We will refer this library. Okay, so here I have created 2 data frames from the original data frame. It is actually the subset. Instead of taking all the columns, I have taken only 3 columns in the ls2 data frame and 2 columns in the ls3 data set. Okay, so let us execute this. Okay, so now I am importing from sklearn.impute. I am importing missing indicator. So what is that missing indicator? Is actually it will generate the indicator that will kind of an array, you can say. It will have some set of values where if there is a null, it will be true, and if there is not null, it will be false. Okay, so we'll explain with example actually. So you can see here missing indicator is imported, and then it is called with missing values equal to null. So it will, how it will identify missing values, actually this missing indicator can handle missing value of only one kind. So you have to tell that what do you mean by missing value. So here I am telling that if the value is nan, then it means it's a missing value. So that is what I am sending it here. Based on that, this indicator is created. Okay, and then this indicator is this feed transform function. It is very helpful, we will be using it very commonly. So for this indicator, I am calling this feed transform function for ls2 data set. Okay, let us see how it works. Actually ls2 means, I have these 3 columns, and if you remember, these 2 columns are having no null value, only this h column is having some null values. Okay, so let us execute. So if you just try to print what is there in indicator, so you can see it's kind of an array, and it is having some values of false and true. So first 3 columns are false, so you can understand that it is something that if the h column is having null values, then it is true, otherwise it should be false. Okay, so now this indicator I am calling this pt.dataframe function. What it will do, it will just convert this indicator to a data frame. Okay, so I am sending indicator as input, and the columns means that as I am trying to convert this indicator to a data frame, so it needs some column names. So I know that as indicator was created from ls2, and ls2 was having some 3 columns, so here I am mentioning 3 column names. Okay, and then this print. Okay, so if you execute this, you can see that it is having some error, and if you scroll down, you can see that the shape of the passed value is 2263 comma 1, indices imply 2263 comma 3. So why it is? Because here what I am trying to do, that I am trying to create a data frame having 3 columns, but actually it is having only 1 column. Why? Because though ls2 had 3 columns, but among them only h column was null, rest of the 2 were not null. So that's why in this indicator, from printing indicator also I can see that there is actually 1 column of data. So you understand that for indicator, when I'm generating the data frame, it will have only that number of columns where there are null values. If any column has 0 number of null values, then there will be no column created in the indicator. So now I have changed this, and I am only keeping this m1 column. So now it is successful and it is printed. So you can see one data frame is created where the column name is m1, and there I can find first 3 are false, and then true, then false, like that. So it is like for the h column I have generated this indicator. Okay, so I can have this list of indicators from my data set to understand that which columns are null and which columns are not null. Okay, that indicator can help us in processing. Okay, then we have another thing that is called simple imputer. So in through indicator I have just understood where there is true or false, but if I want to handle missing data, I want to replace something, then I will use this simple imputer. So this simple imputer here, I am calling this, this simple imputer, and it has 2 arguments I have sent. Missing values equal to np.nan, that is having the same meaning for the earlier one. So I am just telling that, okay, missing value, whenever there is a nan, that means it's a missing value. And then the strategy equal to mean, that means that the missing data should be populated or should be replaced by the mean of that data. Okay, so I have created this IMP object, and then for ls2.age, here imp.feed transform I have again called, and here I have sent only the h column. Okay, the list of the values in the h column are sent. So what it will do, first of all it will take the h column values, then it will identify the missing values as where it is nan is mentioned, and then it will replace all the missing values with the mean of the h column. Okay, so let us execute this. Okay, so it's not a problem, it is some warning is generated. So now if I execute this head function, so you can see that in h column now there is a, this 4th record was having some null value actually, so now it is replaced with the mean of the h column value. So this way I can handle missing data in both through pandas and the scikit-learn functionalities. Okay, so that is all about data quality assessment, and then we will move to, in the next part of the tutorial, we will move to feature engineering. Okay, thank you for now.